Good morning. This morning I woke up because I kind of went to sleep with a heavy heart last night, having heard of a lot of a few of the healthcare workers um, that have committed suicide. A doctor I heard and some nurses. And it broke my heart because I have family members, I have a lot of friends that are doctors and nurses, those that are on the front line. And I can only imagine the amount of pressure that they are under. The sheer volume of death that they have seen and sickness over the last 2 months probably will not be equaled in their lifetime. And I can only imagine and think that those nurses and the doctor that took their life felt that they had nowhere to turn to. No one could understand. And I want to share no more than 10 minutes of your time this morning. Again, just a thought that came to me. And the background is that there was the king of Assyria. He was going about and he was just destroying every country that was before him, all the lands, all the kings, all the people. He was taking them and enslaving them, destroying their gods, low G. And he was about to come and attack Hezekiah and Judah. And a messenger was sent, basically saying, listen, give up, that you cannot stand before this king. He is too great. And my reading starts after Hezekiah received the letter. And this is in Isaiah chapter 37. I'm going to read verse 14 to 20 and then verse 33 to 36. And Hezekiah received the letter from the hand of the messengers and read it. And Hezekiah went up to the house of the Lord and spread it before the Lord. Then Hezekiah prayed to the Lord, saying, O Lord of hosts, God of Israel, the one who dwells between the cherubim, you are God. You alone. Of all the kingdoms of the earth you have made heaven and earth. Incline your ear, O Lord, and hear. Open your eyes, O Lord, and see. And hear all the words of Sennacherib, which he hath set to reproach the living God. Truly, Lord, the king of Assyria have laid waste all the nations of their lands, and have cast their gods into the fire, for they were not gods, but the work of men's hands, wood and stone. Therefore they destroyed them. Now therefore, O Lord our God, save us from his hand, that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that you are the Lord, you alone. Therefore, verse 33, thus saith the Lord concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not come into the city, nor shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with shield, nor build a siege mount against it. By the way that he came, by the same he shall return. And he shall not come into the city, saith the Lord, for I will defend the city, to save it for my own name's sake, and my servant David's sake. Then the angel of the Lord went out and killed in the camp of Assyria 185,000. And when the people rose up early in the morning, there were all the corpses, all dead. And this is an interesting account, interesting story in the Bible. And it's interesting because there was a lot of death going on. This king of Assyria was going out and he was just destroying all the lands around him. He was just destroying and killing people and taking people to be his servants and destroying their gods and destroying their kings. And the letter was brought to Hezekiah. And Hezekiah received this bad news. Hezekiah was fully aware of the circumstances that was going on around him and about him. But Hezekiah knew that he had some place that he could turn, someone he can turn to. And Hezekiah went up to the house of the Lord. And many of us don't have churches to turn to or go to nowadays, but I want to say that no matter where you are, as you bow your head in prayer, you can take your situation and your circumstance to God. And he said to him, O Lord of hosts. And that title of God is very significant. In Hebrew, it means Jehovah Sabaoth, the Lord who is in charge and has every host in heaven and earth at his disposal, that he has everything, that he has the ability to use everything, good and evil, to bring about his purposes. Not that he sends evil, but that he has the ability to use it, to bring us to our knees, to have us look to him, to have us realize that we are not in charge, to have us understand that as smart as we are, there are some things that we cannot control. And he prayed and he begged him to say, listen, incline your ears, open your eyes and see what is going on, assuming that God did not see and God did not hear. And he said, listen, I want them to know, I want all people to know that you are the true God, that you have the ability to save us, that all the earth may know that you are God and you alone. And then the Lord came to him and he answered him and he said, listen, Hezekiah, I heard your prayers and I want you to know something. He said, the king of Assyria, he shall not come into the city. He shall not shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with shield, nor build a siege mount against it. By the way he came, he shall return. He shall not come into the city, saith the Lord, for I will defend the city to save it for my own name's sake and for my servant David's sake. So he said to Hezekiah, listen, I want you to know that not only I am able, but I'm going to do this. I am going to stand by you. I am going to stand for you. And you might say to me, Sean, where was God when all of the devastation was taking place and all of the devastation was happening? And I want you to know that he is here. He sees. He hears. He is in charge. And he might be using all of this suffering so that we can turn our eyes to him, so that we can bow our knees to him, so that we can acknowledge that he is the Lord of hosts, that he has the ability to use this and everything for his glory. I don't know where you are today, but if he's the Lord of hosts, in this situation, he sent one of his angels and he destroyed the entire Assyrian army. He is God over this circumstance. He is God and he is available to you Bow before him this morning.